So I'm recording this portion of the video at the end of today's ride, and I've thought about a lot of what I said on this ride today, and I think a lot of people are going to take what I say as harsh criticism on this bike, and I assure you that is not the case. This bike is awesome. What I'm going to be ranting about in this video today is more of a criticism of our god-awful e-bike laws and how they keep us from really enjoying bikes like this to their full potential. With that being said, let's get on with the review. All right, here we go. This is my second attempt at making a full review for the Wired Freedom. The last time I tried to do a review for the bike, it broke down on me and I had to make a warranty claim, which Wired was great about doing that. And if you want to check out that video, it's on my channel. But anyway, after getting the repairs done, the bike has ridden like a charm. As you can see, I've put some lower handlebars on the bike. They're super wide and low, and I got some really good fine control. And I just like having the mountain style bike handlebars. And I also like it for the portability factor for fitting into my van. Really, I didn't think a lot of people would be too interested in knowing how I changed the bars out. I did record the process and people were interested in it, so let's go back in time and here it is. All right, this begins my review for the 2025 Wired Freedom, which in this frame style you can't get anymore, so I guess this review is going to be kind of obsolete as you're watching, but I guess this can just be my take on it. I was going to review this bike as it sits, completely stock from the factory, but I absolutely hate the handlebars, and that was my intention, to change out the handlebars from the get-go. I was going to do a complete stock review and then make a video about the modifications that I made, but since you can't actually get this bike in this frame style anymore, I don't really see the point of keeping it stock. I'm going to make the changes to it and make the mods on it that I want to make and review it the way I want to ride it. These are the handlebars that I got. These are just a cheap pair of Amazon mountain bike handlebars, but they're pretty wide. They're maybe just slightly wider than the BMX handlebars that are on it, and it'll bring the handlebars down to about this height, which this bike sits high as it is anyway, and the stem sits pretty high here too. But as you can see here, the stem for the BMX handlebars is pretty thin, so we've got to go to a thicker stem to hold the mountain bike handlebars. So I'll switch that out. Overall, this should be really easy to do. I just got to loosen up all of this stuff, take everything off, put the new handlebars in place, and then slide everything back on the new handlebars. Nothing to it. And just to clarify, I don't mind BMX bars on the right kind of bike. I just think this is a weird style to have on a mountain bike frame. I guess it's just maybe my own personal bias, not being able to get over the traditional look of a mountain bike. But yeah, putting BMX bars on a bike that sits this tall and this high and, you know, has this overall frame geometry, to me just looks kind of weird. All right, so here's the main practical reason that I lowered the handlebars. Don't get me wrong, I do like the looks of the lower handlebars, but I haul everything in a minivan, and with the lower handlebars, I'm able to fit the bike in here a lot easier. And as you can see, I'd be able to fit another one in here if I needed to. So it worked out pretty well, and I like the handlebars, not only for how they ride, but also for the portability factor. A lot of people are probably thinking, as much as I do with e-bikes, why don't I just get a hitch hauler on the back? Well, I don't have a hitch. I've got a hitch receiver, but everything under this vehicle is rusted out, so I got to get the holes, I got to get the bolts extracted and drilled out and retapped, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So in the meantime, this is what's going to be working out for me.
All right, we'll do a walk around of the bike. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about this bike because it is last gen and because other people have covered this bike in great detail already, but we'll walk around and check it out. As we can see, it is a 26 by 4-inch fat tire bike, and you can see that I put the lower bars on it. So with those lower bars, this is what it looks like, and I think it looks good. A lot of people are going to want to stick with the BMX, and that's their prerogative, but that's what I like, and I'm riding it, so that's what we're going to stick with. Metal fenders, they are kind of loud. I'm not a fan of the metal fenders. I do wish they were plastic. I'm probably in the minority there, but it is what it is. I can throw some cheap plastic fenders on there if I wanted to. The seat, not the most comfortable on a really long ride, but it's easy enough to change the seat out. As you can see, we got that giant Handlebar motor back there. I think it's 1500 watts, but 3200 watts peak. So it is definitely a beast, and it's got a lot of power for taking off. 7-speed cassette, Shimano tourney derailleur guard. We got a frame protector here to protect against chain slap and oil and things like that. The absolute biggest complaint that I have about the bike is that it's only got a single ring chain guard here, and I do wish it had dual, because this chain does tend to come off a lot, and that can be a little bit of a problem sometimes. This is our controller, and it's a potted controller. I guess it's to protect against overheating. D&M adjustable air shock. As you can see, 2 giant batteries, 35 amp hours total between the two. We've got a 20 amp hour up front, 15 amp hour in the back, and you can take that out if you want. Massive rack here to hold the rear battery, and you can use that for putting bags and things like that on too. We got hydraulic Gemma brakes front and back. I don't see the stamping on these things. I'm not sure what size they are, but I'll put that information on the screen right here. 26 by 4 Kenda Crusade fat tires. Here's our control screen, and we are in the sun, so it's hard to see right now. But one of my favorite things about this bike, and one of the things that makes it one of the best bikes on the market, is this control screen. Within 10 seconds of turning on, if you long press the set button, you can get into the control screen menu, and you can go through and check out all of the different settings in here. So like here, you've got your speed unit where you can set that to miles or kilometers. I do like that everything about this screen is in plain readable English. You don't have to mess around with P settings or anything like that. So if you go to advanced set, you can get in here and change everything. Like this is where you unlock class 2. You can set your speed limit in here. You can go down and configure throttle follow, which I've got throttle follow turned off right now. And the reason that I have throttle follow turned off is so that when you hit your throttle, it's going to override all of your pedal assist levels. So if you're riding along in, say, pedal assist level 2, and a big mean dog comes to chase you down, if you hit the throttle, it's going to give you full speed right away. I really like that feature. And here, this is kind of important. You can set your start strength. 0, 1, 2, or 3. 0 is the strongest, and 3 is the weakest. I am probably going to go to like 3. This thing has a lot of really powerful takeoff, and a lot of people like that for the fun factor. I would much rather have the fine control and take off at a lower speed. I'm going to mess around with it and see. Basically, I don't want it so weak as like the Filoto Forester that has like no takeoff. So when you need to cross a road and you need that oomph to get up and go and cross a road fast, you know, you don't have it. But this thing is like almost too powerful in its takeoff. But overall, there she is. I may have forgotten to mention a few things here or there, but everybody under the sun has already covered this bike. And like I said, it's last gen model, so you can't even really buy it anymore unless you find one used somewhere. So it is what it is, but I do like it. I think it's a good looking bike, and it's a lot of fun to ride.
So no doubt about it, this bike is fast, and I really like riding the bike a lot. Picture riding a bicycle at 40 miles per hour when you want to, but that's not the reason that I bought the bike. I bought it for riding trails like this at about these speeds right here. I'm doing like 23 miles per hour right now in pedal assist level 1, and it's really got plenty of power for the kind of riding that I want to do on these kind of trails. With that being said, the bike will get up to just a little over 40 miles per hour. Here, I'm going to drop in a speed test right here. I don't want to do a full 40 miles per hour on a rail and trail like this. All right, here we go. Just a hair over 36, but here we go, going downhill on the way back. All right, according to the speedometer of the Wired Freedom, we hit just a hair over 44 miles per hour. And I'll have to look at GPS for both speed tests, and we'll compare them and see what we got up to. So as much fun as it is to ride this bike, I gotta be the fun killer now and say the things that people don't want to hear. And that is that there are not many places that you can legally ride this bike. What I'm doing right now on this rail and trail is questionable. This is a unregistered, uninsured vehicle that if you ride this on public streets, you are definitely riding it illegally. I'm sorry to be the bearer of that bad news. It is what it is. You are not going to outsmart anybody riding this massive behemoth on public roads. It stands out like a sore thumb. To any police who know anything about e-bikes, they can spot it and know that it is definitely not street legal, and Wired is definitely making a name for itself too. Now, I'm not going to be your dad and tell you what you can and can't do. If you want to go out and ride this bike and ride it wherever you want, you go right ahead. I just want you to understand that you're taking on a lot of legal liability if you ride this thing. When I first started this ride today, I passed some pedestrians, and when I did that, I went all the way down in pedal assist level 0 because they had a baby stroller with them and they weren't really paying attention. And so when I came up behind them, I kind of signaled them and let them know that I was passing on the left. But when I did that, I went down in pedal assist level 0 and pedaled past them with no power whatsoever, because as you can see right here in pedal assist level 1, I'm easily braking 20 miles per hour. Anybody who rides trails like this a lot knows that you get the pedestrians who don't pay attention, and you get bicyclists who kind of do this stuff going down the trail. They just kind of are in their own little world, and they'll be on this side, then they'll be over on that side, and then they'll be back over here and just kind of swerving and swaying and doing whatever they want. And that's fine. You know, if you were to hit somebody like that, it would probably be their fault, but you're going to be drawing attention to yourself on a bike like this, and they're going to be like, oh, that guy was doing, you know, who knows how fast he was going. That's one reason that when I ride this bike, I always wear a camera, record everything that I'm doing. But also it comes down to, it probably won't save you. This is a straight up illegal bike. There is a sticker on the frame that says that it's a class 2 750 watt bike. They put that on there to cover their own asses. It's not going to protect you from cops, courts, and Karens. Now, am I saying all that stuff to disparage this bike? No, and I don't even mean it against this bike specifically. This applies to pretty much all non-street legal e-bikes. If you are riding something that you're not supposed to be riding, an unregistered, untagged, uninsured vehicle, and you get in any kind of trouble, life as you know it is going to change. Again, I'm not saying that to disparage this bike. I'm saying the e-bike laws suck. And I'm the last person I ever thought I would hear say we need more laws. We need better e-bike laws. You're saving money on gas, but the moment you hurt a kid, all that money that you saved on gas is going to go into legal fees. So pick your poison. Again, I'm not going to tell you what to do, what not to do. It's up to you how you live your life and what you do with the stuff that you buy. But if you ride a bike like this, I cannot reiterate enough that you are taking a massive legal liability chance with your life. Another thing with a bike like this, when you encounter people who are going to want to cause problems and just take your fun away because they don't like e-bikes or they don't like more powerful e-bikes or whatever the case may be, I would say leave your ego at home. Don't bicker. Don't argue with them. If you can just leave the situation, leave. Don't give them the satisfaction of, don't pull the, well, actually, don't do anything. Just put it down in a low speed and go. Leave. Get out of there. My views on confrontation carry over from having a concealed carry license. Yeah, if you have a gun, you are very well protected, but if you go out looking for trouble, you're going to find it. So it's best to avoid any kind of trouble, avoid the people who want to bicker and argue with you, and you've got the means to just leave. So do that. I'm not saying leave the scene of an accident if there is an accident. I'm saying leave the bickering and finger wagging and people being holier and mightier than thou and telling you how that you should be doing things and lectures and stuff like that. There's nothing against the law for you to just walk away from any kind of situation like that. And that's what I recommend. Because if you were not riding crazy and you know you weren't riding crazy, and somebody wants to start arguing with you and telling you how to ride and telling you that you need to slow down and telling you that you don't belong on the trails and blah, 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 whatever thing you're getting into with people, if you leave that scenario and be on your way and you're out of the area, and if they decide that they want to file a formal complaint with the police, they're probably going to be all worked up and emotional. And when the police get there, the police are going to be thinking, okay, Grandma, calm down. And they're most likely going to blow off the situation because they're going to see that they're dealing with an emotionally unhinged person who has nothing better to do. Another thing of note that I should point out, that if you want to protect yourself, get a rear view mirror and put on your bike. It's something I haven't done yet. I've got one laying on the desk at home. I just keep forgetting to put the thing on here. But that is definitely something that, you know, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of everything that you're riding around, and you should be okay. But again, you know, the legality of something like this, you're taking a big risk. The other thing I recommend is pick up an action camera and record your entire ride everywhere you go. You use a dash cam on the car, use an action camera on your bike. You could easily mount an action camera right here, pointed at your speedometer, so that you would have that information, and you can feed it into the USB controller over here and constantly power it and constantly record your entire ride. So that way, if there's anything where you would need to prove your innocence and you've got on camera that you are innocent, you know, you've got that option, you've got that video to back you up. Areas like this, we've got no traffic coming right now, but areas like this is where I want that really strong takeoff. And in an area like that, like I just reviewed the Filoto Forester not too long ago. When you crank back on the Filoto Forester's throttle, it has a really slow takeoff. Initially, I thought that was a safety feature. I thought it's because they don't want you taking off really hard and hurting yourself and suing them. That's not the case at all. Once you buy the bike, it's your problem. They don't care if you're going to kill yourself or not, probably. The reason that bike takes off so slow is because it's got a very powerful 60-volt battery and pretty high amp controller. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it's sending quite a bit of power to those motors. Well, those motors have nylon gears, and they like govern back your takeoff so you don't strip those gears out. This bike has a reinforced Hintac motor, so with those steel motors, it can take a lot more torque. And that's why this one can take off a lot stronger than, you know, say a cheaper bike. I'm getting into comparing this bike to the Filoto Forester. I'm actually going to do a full video on that, so I'll shut up about that now and, you know, stop the yammering. But one of the many things that I like about this bike is that it does have that really strong takeoff when you need it. And, you know, when you're trying to dart across a high traffic road, you want to take off as fast as you can take off. Okay, so I'm going to do a hard takeoff now, and I want to show you some stuff about this bike that people should be aware of. And that is when you take off and you've got it set in the hardest takeoff level, which is 0. It's 0, 1, 2, and 3. I've got it set to 0. When you take off with that level, I mean, it kicks in hard. I'm going to take off as hard as I can right now. And that's not too bad because, one, I was ready for it, but when you first start riding this bike and you're not ready for that torque, it is really, really, really powerful. So the reason I wanted to show you that is because if you go up to, say, like pedal assist level 5, and you see how I'm just kind of coasting along right now, if I start pedaling, it kicks in like that under pedal assist level 5. So the way I generally ride this bike is I ride it in pedal assist level 1, and I use the throttle to go up to top speed when I want to go faster. The reason I do that is because, check this out. So when you pull the brake lever, it cuts all power to the motor. And when you're doing low speed fine control, you know, you ride the back brake, and I'm pedaling along right now to stay up and maintain my balance. But I'm in pedal assist level, let me go up to pedal assist level 5. So the moment that I release this brake lever and I am pedaling, it's going to kick in and take off like a rocket. Now I pedal out of habit to control the bike and control the balance, but I'm going to release the brake right now, and it took off hard. And I was ready for it. If you're not ready for that, it is bad news, man. When you're trying to do low speed control and it jerks on you like that, it will wake you up for sure. So that is why when I ride the bike, I pretty much ride it down in pedal assist level 1, which will take me up to about 23 miles per hour, 24 miles per hour with pedaling. And then if I want to override that, I use the throttle. Now, I'm not telling you how to ride. You can ride however you want. But for my own safety, that's how I do it. And that's how I recommend others do it. But like I said, ride however you want to ride. But take responsibility for your own actions. A pretty long and steep hill. We'll do a hill climb test here. It's not the worst I've ever encountered, but here we go. Throttle only, and I'm doing throttle override, so it's all the power, and I mean, it's just screaming right up this hill, no problem. Like a dummy, I forgot to reset my trip meter today, but I didn't set out to do a full range test. If anybody watched my Filoto Forester triple range test on that bike, I plan on doing the same thing with this bike, where I do some full speed hard riding, and then I'm going to do some like hill riding out in the country, and then I'm going to do just some casual riding. I've been mostly casual riding today, again maintaining anywhere from like 22, 23 miles per hour, and I've come about 12 miles so far. I know that I've come 12 miles because I ride this route a lot, and the battery life has dropped down to 87%, and there is some battery voltage sag on it right now. If I stop, that'll probably come up. Okay, so what you see right here, this is the reason that I bought this bike. As you can see, I'm not going very fast. I'm going to peak out at probably about 22, 23 miles per hour, and that is plenty fast enough for this trail. A lot of people are really interested in this bike because of how fast it can go. And hey, more power to you if you want to ride a fast bike. Cool, there's nothing wrong with that. And occasionally I cut loose with this bike and give her hell and see what she's got, and it's a lot of fun. The reason that I bought this bike is because of the two giant 60 volt batteries. We got a 20 amp hour battery in the front and a 15 amp hour battery in the back, and riding along at 22, 23 miles per hour is going to take me pretty far. I think Citizen Cycle did a full range test on this bike, and it came out at like 70 miles when he was riding it like that, around 25 miles per hour or under. And he got 70 miles out of it. I'm going to tell you from my experience, that tracks. I might get a little bit less because I think I'm a little bit more hefty than he is, especially in the midsection. Probably 20 to 30 pounds heavier than he is, so I probably won't get 70 miles riding it the same way, but it'll be close. So right now I'm watching my motor temperature, and I've been cruising along in pedal assist level 1 in the low to mid 20s for the entire ride now. And the motor is reading 179 degrees Fahrenheit. I like that we got the option to monitor the motor temperature. Love that. But the folks at Wired did tell me, when I asked specifically, what temperature do I want to aim for? Like, what do I want to keep that under? They said 275 degrees Fahrenheit. So, if you ride this bike at rough bumpy section there, if you ride this bike at top speed, around 40 miles per hour, it's going to overheat a lot faster. And it will eventually overheat even on straight, even, nice paths like this if you ride it at high speeds. So watch your speed, watch your temperature, and when you hit that 275 degrees, drop off. Hey dear, drop off and let the bike cool down. When I hit, I think it was 390 degrees because I wasn't paying attention, the bike was supposed to cut out and kill power to the engine, or to the motor, and let everything cool down. But after I did that, basically it wrecked one of the sensors in the motor, overheated, blew the sensor, and basically the bike wouldn't turn back on, and it was giving me a false reading of 390 degrees no matter what temperature the motor was at. So luckily Wired was great about replacing the motor. The entire process took a little over a week to do the troubleshooting and communication back and forth. Once they confirmed that it was indeed the motor sensor was bad, the heat sensor was bad, they sent out a new motor. I was able to put it in myself within a few hours, and I was back up and running, no problem. The entire process with communication and shipping and all that stuff was a little over a week. All right, I'm riding back home now, and I got plenty of battery life left, so I'm getting into it a little bit. And I've moved up to pedal assist level 2 now, so this bike in pedal assist level 1 gets up to like 22, 23 miles per hour. So that's faster than a Class 1 e-bike. In pedal assist level 2, it gets up to 30, no problem. So that's faster than a Class 3 level e-bike. So yeah, this thing really cooks. But riding this thing at 30, I'm really keeping my eyes peeled and making sure that there are no pedestrians or other cyclists that I'm going to come up on too fast. If I start seeing anybody else, I'm going to drop way down and not draw any attention to myself. Okay, so my final thoughts on the Wired Freedom. I absolutely love this bike, and it fulfills the niche that I bought it for. Would I recommend it to everybody? I would recommend it to people who understand the risk that they're taking with owning this bike and where they're going to be able to get away with riding it and how they're going to go about riding it. If you're smart about it, you're probably going to be okay, but I can't guarantee that. It's not a legal bike, and most of the bikes that I review on my channel are not legal bikes. It just is what it is. If you're going down the road at 40 miles per hour on a bicycle and a cop clocks you, that's going to be a huge red flag for them. The instance where I highly recommend you don't buy this bike is if you're like a parent buying it for a teenager. They might come across as the most angelic, smart teen that you've ever met in your life, but once they get on this thing and out of view, they're putting themselves and you in a legal liability area. The reason I bought this bike was to be able to come out and ride trails all day and get the most out of the big batteries, and for that it does a great job. So I've been out riding a really long time now, and I'm down to 63% on the battery. The handlebar mod change that I made is really comfortable. I like these really wide bars. The only thing that I really need to change comfort wise is the seat. The seat is okay for under like 10, 15 miles, but as long as I've been riding it now, it's a bit rough on the behind. I've got a bigger, wider seat to put on it at home. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.